speaker today. I see. So, as you know that this program started last.
Oh, I think we lost him. Let's just wait for a moment for Professor Adi to come back. Hopefully he can rejoin us soon. Okay, so while waiting, oh yeah, he's back now. Okay, Pak Adi.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know about the trouble. So, okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Prof, we can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So you know that this program started from the last year, and it is very important, especially for the postgraduate student. But even it's also important for the undergraduate students. So how to improve our English, especially to publish our publication. So Mr. Harry, Prof. Harry Keswanto, and also Mr. Thomas Kaufman, thank you very much again, and hopefully that. This program will be conducted successfully, and everyone will get the benefit about these programs. Once again, I thank you very much for all the committee that already prepared this. You are all already work hard, and thank you very much for all. Success. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you so much, Professor Adi, for starting us off. And now I would like to just remind Bapak Ibu to please find somewhere comfortable to sit, because as I've mentioned, we have quite a lot in our agenda for today. So make sure that you're seated comfortably so that you can follow along with the sessions without any problems. And now I hope everyone's ready for the very first speaker of the day, Professor Harry Kuswanto. He is the Director of Postgraduate Program and Academic of Iits. Hello, Professor Harry.
Hello, Fadila.
Yes, I believe you're in the US right now, is that right?
Oh, no, I'm in Iits.
Oh, no, you're back. Oh, okay, great then. Yeah, so Professor Harry will be delivering about publication requirement for postgraduate students. So if Bapak Ibu has any questions along the way, you can use the raise hand feature. And then after we ask you to unmute yourself, you can ask your questions, or you can put your questions in the chat. And now without further ado, Prof. Harry, you can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning for everyone here. Yang saya hormati Pak Prof. Adi Supriyanto selaku Wakil Rektor 1 ITS. Ada Bu Maria juga mungkin ya di sini. Kemudian teman-teman dari Academic Writing Center ITS sama Direktorat Pasca Sarjana. Terima kasih sudah arrange kegiatan atau agenda pada hari ini yang mudah-mudahan nanti berjalan dengan sukses begitu. So I might talk mix sometimes in Bahasa and sometimes in English, and I prepared my slide in Bahasa. What I talked yesterday was because this is very important topic, right, for all of you postgraduate students. So I think it will be better for me to prepare everything in Bahasa. So then you will be able to understand clearly about the thing that I would like to convey from my presentation. Okay, so again, good morning. And this is the title of my presentation for today, the requirement about publication for postgraduate student in ITS. Yeah, I will start with why publication is important in ITS, especially for postgraduate students. So this is not for the sake of ITS solely, and this is not just regulation that is held in ITS only. So you can see here that from the Standard Nasional Perguruan Tinggi, from the Permendikbud number 3 2020, it states there that for master's student and PhD student, they definitely have to publish something. So you can, I put here the quote from the SNPT, and yeah, you can see here the upper one is for master student and the lower one is for doctoral students. And you see here that one of the requirement that has been set by the Standard National Perguruan Tinggi in order to graduate from master level is that you have to publish a paper in international in accredited national journal or accepted in international journal. So this is requirement for master students. And for PhD students, I think it's still the same thing. So beside producing dissertation book, you are required also to have a paper that is published in international reputable international journals. So we have to follow these regulations. So we have no choice. And of course, there are some other purpose why postgraduate student especially is required to publish their paper. So as you might already know that papers, number of citation, these two are also indicators for university ranking. So ITS is one of the PTNBH in Indonesia, and the government, the ministry has a target for ITS that ITS has to be in the list of like something like 500 best universities over the world, and one or two of the indicators as the as the way to calculate whether ITS ranking could be good or not is about the publications. And yeah, this is also the fact that we have to admit that the postgraduate student in ITS is the locomotive, I say here, as the producer of the publication. The fact shows that even though ITS lecturer have a lot of publications, uh, but most of the publication are written together with the student, especially for together with the postgraduate student. So your role here as postgraduate student is quite important in ITS. So we rely on your productivity in terms of producing the research work in the form of publication in accredited or reputable journals. And there are also some issues that I would like to convey to you here. So right now we have what we call as PIN, Penomoran Ijazah Nasional. I don't know whether you are quite familiar with this or not, but PIN here is quite important. Every student has to be aware about this one, because whenever you fail to get PIN, then you won't be able to graduate. You won't be able to get your certificate letter. Yeah. So one of the requirement that you will be able to get PIN when you graduate is that it deals with the length of the study. So in our regulation, for master students, maximum of 8 semesters, and then for doctoral student, maximum of 14 semesters. So if you are, this is not excluding the on leave ya. So kalau Bapak Ibu cuti itu nggak dihitung ya. So you have to make sure that you set already the timeline about uh, when you will be when you expect to graduate from ITS. So still dealing with these kind of things, you also need to set the timeline or milestone regarding the plan for publication, because you know that publication is something which is unpredictable. You cannot expect like, okay, I set my target within 6 months I have already published something, but in fact it could be very difficult to meet that situation, because it's really depend on many things. Yeah. So here we have like the process of submitting our papers to journals until your paper is getting published. There are uh, lot of steps that you have to take. So after you submit your article to journals, then editor will do like a screening, the first screening, whether your paper is eligible to be considered for further review in the journal or not. So if your paper is passing the screening process, then it will be continue with the reviewer. So the editor will set or invite reviewer to review your paper. However, if your paper is said to be is considered to be not eligible to be published there, then you will get a rejection. So be careful later when you submit your paper, and then suddenly you get the maybe 1 or 2 days after you get the reply from the editor. Normally, this reply is something like saying, "We are sorry that we cannot consider your paper to be published in our journals." Hello? Yeah. So you have to be careful with this. And then when your paper is in the process of review, and I think some of you has already experienced about submitting your paper, and it could be some rounds of review process, could be 2, 3, and so on, especially for a good journals, that it is almost impossible that after the first submission, you will get notification that your paper will be accepted for publication. So this is not the case. So normally, you will be required to revise some part of your paper and then submit again, and then go to review process again, and so on until it get accepted. So this is what happened. And still, even though you already revised your paper, we still don't know the result, whether your paper will be rejected or it will be accepted. So there are some uncertainty in this case. So that's why setting the timeline or milestone for from submitting your paper and the expected date that your paper will be published is quite important. Yeah. So my suggestion will be you have to do it as soon as possible. Whenever you have the material to be written as a paper, then just write it and then communicate with your supervisor and then submit it to the journals. And let's wait about the result. So don't spare just very short time for this process. And this is just a picture. I think this is very nice picture about what's going on with the review process. So let's consider this guy is someone who want to, or you with your paper, you want to submit your paper. So many people suppose or assume that reviewer is something like a guardian, yeah. So they are apa namanya jahat, kemudian mereka mengerikan dan sebagainya gitu. So this is what happened. It's always the case that when we submit the paper, we hope that it will be accepted, but we are very in the situation that we can be getting very stressful because of waiting of the review result. So this is how the review looks like, but it should not be the case, because what reviewer do here with your paper is just they would like to improve your paper by giving some suggestion. Yeah. Okay, so I came with the point of my presentation today. So actually what I would like to present right now, everything is available in what we call as Baku Mutu Pasca Sarjana. So the latest version of the Baku Mutu is 2021. I think we already upload this in our website Pasca Sarjana, which means that you can simply download this document and then please try to understand every single things that relate to you, so that later if you have any question, if you have any problem, then you might remember, okay, I could get the answer from the Baku Mutu Pasca Sarjana. Yeah, so basically everything is there about the requirement to graduate, requirement to be ITS ITS student. What should you do if you have problem with your supervisor, and then the requirement that someone can be supervisor for your thesis or for your dissertation, it's already there. Yeah, so you can find all of this answer in the document. Okay, so what I present here is the requirement to be graduate. Yeah. So as you know also that we have magister regular. Regular means like by course, and we have also magister by research, and also for doctoral by research and doctoral by course. So this is the requirement to be graduate from magister by course in ITS. So apart from this, I will skip this too because the focus right now is about the publication. So I highlight here the requirement about the publication. So the student have to bahasa Indonesia saja ya, nanti takutnya salah persepsi ya. Mahasiswa telah mempublikasikan hasil penelitian yang berkaitan dengan tesis dalam makalah yang telah diterbitkan di jurnal ilmiah nasional terakreditasi atau telah diterima di jurnal internasional atau telah dipresentasikan secara oral di seminar internasional bereputasi. Nah, di bawah ini ada definisi apa yang disebut dengan seminar internasional bereputasi. Itu adalah seminar internasional yang terindeks, diikuti oleh lebih 5 negara dan akan dipublikasikan pada proceeding terindeks. Ada catatan di sini, indeksnya adalah Scopus dan atau Web of Science. So you have to take note on this. Whenever you plan to submit your paper, for this requirement, I think most of the student will take the opportunity to submit their paper or present their paper in reputable international seminars. But you have to be careful. The requirement here is that the seminar is said to be indexed, reputable seminar if it is indexed, but of course we have a lot of indexing, yeah. But the requirement here is just two, whether you can have the proceeding indexed by Scopus or indexed by Web of Science. So this is just the two rule that we set in ITS. Of course, you can also choose to publish your work in national index accredited journals. We have SIMTA 1, SIMTA 2 until SIMTA 6. But in line with the purpose, with the vision of ITS to be world-class university, especially if you would like to take part in contributing to the increasing the ranking of ITS, then we really encourage the student to publish their work in index proceeding instead of national journals, because the publication, the paper that is assessed as a part of the assessment for ranking is a paper which is indexed in Scopus, especially for US ranking world. And I continue with the magister by research. So of course, because this is master by research, then the requirement is a little bit higher than the regular one. So if for regular students, you only need to publish at least one paper in the place that I just mentioned above. But here you can present your, of course, it is not just presenting, yeah. So it has to be published in the proceeding. So you have to publish in the proceeding from the seminar plus one paper which is accepted in international reputable journals, minimum Q3, or having impact factors. Or you can also choose this one, another publication in national journals with the qualification of SINTA 1 and or SINTA 2 or SINTA 3 or SINTA 4. Or you can also have the patent that has been registered. So this is the choice for you. So it shouldn't be difficult, I guess, especially for by research students, yeah. And this is for doctoral students. So the requirement is only one here. Oh, two, sorry. So the student has to publish the result of their research. Of course, it has to be something which is related to your dissertation. Minimum in one paper that has been accepted in international reputable journal, and you see here this is N, not R, and one paper that has been presented orally in international seminar, reputable international seminars, yeah. And this is the definition of what we call as the international journal here. Reputable international journals here is international journals which is indexed by Scopus, or international journal index by Web of Science with impact factor more than 0.01. Jadi intinya ini adalah satu makalah di seminar internasional proceeding, satu makalah di jurnal internasional. And this is for doctoral research. Again, the requirement is higher than the regular one. So satu makalah di seminar internasional bereputasi ditambah dengan satu makalah yang telah terbit di jurnal internasional bereputasi, which is index Scopus minimum Q2. So if you can produce or publish your paper in Q2 journal or in a journal with impact factor of greater than 0.5, then it will be enough by only having one. But if you publish in a lower quality journals, then you have to have two minimum, two papers that has been published in reputable international journals with minimum Q2, or this one. You can also take this requirement: one paper in Q2 or one registered and verified patent. Okay, so maybe some of you have question: is it really the case that it has to be published? No, in fact, it is quite difficult. I mean, the publication process could take very long time, which sometimes we don't know the expectation of a publication date. So in this situation, normally in the field, I mean, later when you already submit and then accept it, you get notification from the editor that your paper is accepted for publication, then you can submit it as the requirement for graduation. So no need to wait until the paper to be published, because it might take very long time. And there are some issues also that you need to know. So the first thing is that for your publication, the first author has to be the students. Yeah, it should be your name, not your supervisor or your promoter or someone else. Yeah. And then the corresponding author has to be the supervisor or promoter. So please take note on this, because there are still some cases by the end of the day when the students submit their requirement, we notice that, oh no, the corresponding author is the student, or sometimes, oh no, the first author is the pembimbing, the supervisor. So we would not accept this as the requirement. So if it is happened, then you have to publish again. So no choice. Yeah. And then the first institution has to be ITS, because you are ITS student. So this is the result of your work in ITS as a student. Yeah. So you have to put the ITS as the first institution. Of course, you can put another institution if you already work in institution, like in PPS, for example, in PPSDM, for example, then you can still put your institution in the paper. But you definitely have to put ITS as the first or the main institution. And then, especially for PMDSU students, the requirement for the publication have to follow the rule from PMDSU. So I think a PMDSU student has to publish minimum 2. Yeah, so minimum 2 in the journals. And then this is also important. The study program may set the standard of publication, which is above the standard that has been written in baku mutu. But this has already been agreed by all supervisors, all lecturers in that study program. So you have to make sure from the beginning, whenever you go to, I mean, you enter your study program, you have to ask, so in the baku mutu document, this is the minimum requirement that has to be fulfilled by the student. But program study can set another requirement that is higher than baku mutu. Yeah. So you can ask to your kaprodi, Bapak Kaprodi, or maybe for PhD student, you can ask to your promoter, what is the requirement of the publication in this study program? But so far, what I noticed is that normally most of the study programs still follow what we already written in the baku mutu, but only 2 or 3 study program that has set higher standard than in baku mutu. Yeah, something like electrical engineering, for example, they set minimum 2 publication in the journals, but this is okay. And the student has to know about this in the beginning. And yeah, this is the common problem for students, especially. Writing is not a simple task, and we cannot just simply copy paste our work from Indonesia to Google Translate. So it will not work. You can do that, of course, but this is just for the very preliminary step. Yeah. And then, yeah, writing paper is not the same as writing, like taking a note when you have your lecture, maybe. So because this is academic paper, so the language has to be chosen so it can be accepted by the academic peers. And then the ability of the student, especially for ITS postgraduate students, what I notice is that still need to be improved, really. So I currently have some have classes, and I ask my student to write a draft of paper, and yeah, I see that there is still a lot of things that have to be learned by the student in order to be able to produce a good paper. And yeah, of course, we are in ITS. It's not just asking you to produce a good paper. We have to do something. We have to support our students here. So there are some ways that you can use to improve your ability, especially for doing research or writing publication. So we have the program what we call SSF. I think for all of you, the students, a new student, you have to attend this RCEP program because there will be a lot of information, a lot of tips that given by the speakers within the event. And then we have for today, for example, Academic Writing Center that will really help you about assisting you to write a paper. So whenever you have difficulties later in the process of writing paper, you can come to Academic Writing Center ITS for having an appointment to get one-on-one consultation, and you can also attend the workshop that has been set by the AWC ITS. And for sure, we still have a lot of workshop that something like the event or workshop which is organized by Library ITS. They usually have a connection with a very good publishers like from Wiley, from Elsevier, from Taylor and Francis, and they invite the speaker from that publishers to give some insight for the student about the publication. So, and we will for sure announce all opportunity that you can join the program. Yeah. So again, the today's agenda is mostly about Academic Writing Center in ITS. Yeah, so they will share what kind of service they have and so on. And I do hope that all students, all postgraduate students here can take benefit from the presence of Academic Writing Center in ITS. And again, to mention that we have currently Mr. Thomas from USA. So they will stay here in ITS for a couple of months, I think, until next year. And Mr. Thomas will really support us, especially for the student who need the assistance in the writing for academic writing. So this is the last slide I have. I think we can continue with the question and session, because what I present today is very general things, yeah. But in fact, later when you are ready to graduate, there will be some specific issues that you need to clarify. You need to ask to your study program or to us in Directorate of Postgraduate Program and Academic Development in ITS. Yeah, so there will be a case by case that need to be solved by student. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mbak Fadila. Back to you.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Harry, for your presentation. And Bapak Ibu, if you have any questions, please, you can use the raise hand feature or you can ask your questions in the chat. Okay, we have one here. Pak Rizky Ramadana.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Professor Harry. My name is Rizky Ramadana. I'm a doctoral student from interdisciplinary management. Actually, what I want to ask is about the cost of publication, because we know that to publish in journal, we have to spend some money to ask the cost of publication. So if the publication costs some money, is it covered by our personal fee, or there will be any backup from Iits to cover the publication costs? Thank you very much, Professor Harry.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. So, for the student that has scholarship, I think it would be no problem. Yeah. So most of the scholarship, I think, they have a support for publication in journal. So the problem right now is for the student who doesn't have any scholarship. So where we are talking about cost of publication, of course, there are a lot of journals that doesn't bear any publication cost. Yeah, so they're really free. So like in Taylor and Francis journal, there are some journals that are free. The cost of publication is normally is for open access. So if you agree that your paper to be open access, then you have to pay amount of money, and normally it is not a small money. Yeah, so the cost of application is not that cheap right now. So like MDPI, for example, it's something like CHF 2000, could be something like that, and the others. But this is what you can do. So ITS has what we call as an incentive that can be, I mean, all lecture in ITS can propose to get an incentive. So whenever the lecturer have a publication, so they can propose this publication to ITS, and depending on the quality of this publication, like Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, then there will be some money that as an incentive that will be given to the lecturer. But of course, there is some certain period that the lecturer can propose for the incentive. So what I mean is that, okay, the student might say to the promoter, if the promoter can, I mean, can cover the publication cost, that will be good. If not, then the student have to cover by themselves. But later, if the paper has already published, then you can, I mean, this paper can be handed by the promoter to be submitted for incentive in ITS. And then after the promoter get the money, so hopefully, yeah, and it should be the case that the money, some of the, maybe not all of them, but some of the money can be given to the student as part of reimbursement for the publication cost. So this is what I know.
Thank you very much, Professor Harry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pak Rizky and Professor Harry, for your question and answer. So next we have Pak Jadid Pratama.
Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, I have a question about the paper, Mr. Can you give me some media to publish our paper that you apa namanya, that you jelaskan di slide sebelumnya gitu.
Ini nih sebentar ada yang bocor rame.
Yeah. Sorry about the noise because I'm working in outside.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Coba lanjut.
Okay. Can you? But I'm already confused about the paper. Can you give me some example? With I will posting about our paper.
Where?
Can you give some media what for maybe international media or social media and we can
Okay.
give me. Thank you.
So, okay, thank you for the question. So the requirement is that you have to publish your paper in reputable international journals. Yeah, so it has to be journals. And yeah, and the definition of the journals, what we call as reputable international journals, we already put the definition in the Bakumutu in my presentation also. So this is not this is not publication in like social media, or this is not publication in what we call as apa ya, media yang populer seperti itu ya. So it has to be international journals. And what kind of journal that you can use, I mean, to publish your paper, of course, you will need to discuss with your supervisor later. So you cannot decide this by your own. So later when you do your, I mean, you do your research, and then, okay, I have already materials to be written for my paper. Then you have to discuss with your supervisor, discuss with him or her. So ask about the suggestion to which journal that I need or I have to submit this paper. Yeah. So normally your supervisor will already have some references that can be used. Ya, jadi misalkan mahasiswa saya begitu, biasanya kalau sudah ada materi paper, dia akan nanya, Pak, ini saya sebaiknya publikasi ke jurnal mana ya gitu. Lalu saya coba carikan, oke, misalkan ke Journal of Applied Statistics. So this is one of the good journal in statistics. So and then the student will try to find some information about the template of the paper, and then prepare everything to submit their paper in these journals. So this is what happened, Pak.
Maybe you have example for the media, sir?
Media? What do you mean with media? Sorry.
Maybe what's media on website or in any website?
Yeah. Of course, there's a lot. You can just simply Googling. So depending on your field of study, like in statistics, for example, you can go to Simaku list. So I will write here in the chat box later, Simaku list. So later you can choose depending on your field of study. For example, if you are from management, for example, then you choose management or some other related field. And then there will be list of the name of the journals that you can use to publish your paper over there. Yeah. So I will put the link.
Okay, I'm got it, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you, Pak Jadid, for the question, and thank you again, Prof. Harry, for the answer. And next we have Bu Ika Salim. Bu Ika, you may unmute yourself.
Thank you, Prof, for the chance to ask. I would like to ask about what if throughout the study we have a publication before thesis? Is it have any value added to our score, or maybe later on our grade? Thank you.
So sorry, your question is you publish before you take a thesis, something?
Yes.
Okay. So again, important that you need to know is the material that has to be published is part of your thesis or your dissertation. So if you publish something, but the content of the paper doesn't really have any connection with your thesis, it will not be accepted. Yeah. So it has to be part or all part of your thesis or dissertation. Is it clear?
Okay, so there is no any maybe benefits if we write or publish before thesis?
Of course, Yes, of course. There's a lot. So if you have some publication, uh, whenever you get this publication, maybe before you take a thesis. So one thing is that publication is a good thing, right? So it will be very good if you can put in your portfolio, in your CV, that you have already this publication, A, B, C, D, and so on. Especially if you, sorry. Especially if you are expected to work later in academic field, something like become a lecturer or something else. So it will be quite important, and it will be very beneficial for you if you can write and show to the recruiter that you have already list of publication. Yeah.
But is there any benefit for us if we have publication before thesis, like maybe in our grade or like ijazah?
No, except that I have something like this. So I have one class, it's called a seminar. Yeah. So the course is called a seminar. And one of the output is that the student have to already submit the paper by the end of the semester. But we agreed about this one. So if the student can, the paper of the student can be accepted later, then the student will be guaranteed to have A grade. But if not, then maybe AB gitu ya. Tapi kalau misalkan papernya bisa accepted dari mata kuliah itu, nanti saya langsung kasih A kayak gitu. Tapi ini harus dengan pembicaraan dengan dosennya, biasanya disepakati di awal. Ya.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ika, for your question, and Prof. Harry for your answer. And next we have Pak Jihin Muriatmoko. He asked this question in the chat. Do you need me to read it for you, Pak Harry?
Yes, please.
Right, so Pak Jihin asked whether TOEFL ITP is a requirement for graduating from ITS, and is it a requirement to test the EFL test at ITS?
Okay, so this is something else ya, about TOEFL, but it's okay because this is important. Saya jawab bahasa Indonesia saja ya supaya jelas ya. Jadi ada surat edaran dari Wakil Rektor 1 yang menyatakan bahwa hanya TOEFL, hanya sertifikat TOEFL yang diambil dari tes di ITS yang diakui untuk syarat kelulusan. Ya. Dan sekarang perhatikan juga di edaran terakhir itu bahwa TOEFL itu bukan menjadi syarat yudisium, tapi syarat maju untuk sidang tesis atau sidang disertasi. Ya. Nah, ITP tidak bisa. Karena begini Bapak Ibu, kita punya pengalaman ternyata itu bisa dipalsukan. Jadi beberapa mahasiswa sempat memalsukan TOEFL ITP. Dan kita ada proses verifikasi ke yang mengeluarkan sertifikat gitu ya. Dan itu biasanya prosesnya nggak bisa cepat. Makanya akhirnya kenapa kebijakan ITS ya sudah kita buat saja yang bisa diakui untuk syarat kelulusan di ITS itu adalah yang diambil dari ITS. Nah, yang seperti apa? Kalau kemarin misalkan Bapak Ibu tes di ITS untuk masuk ke S2 atau S3, maka itu bisa nanti diakui. Ya. Dan nilainya sudah memenuhi standar minimal kelulusan, maka itu bisa diakui untuk yudisium nanti untuk kelulusan. Tapi kalau misalnya tidak, maka ini dalam waktu dekat ITS Direktorat Pasca dengan UPT Bahasa, UPBG namanya sekarang, itu akan mengadakan tes massal. Ya, kita sebut saja tes massal untuk semua mahasiswa baru ITS. Nanti bayarnya nggak mahal, kalau nggak saya nggak tahu, sekitar 95.000 atau berapa. Nanti dari hasil itu, kalau misalkan nilainya Bapak Ibu sudah lolos, maka sudah beres. Tidak perlu khawatir nanti akan ada kendala pada saat yudisium atau lulus. Tapi kalau misalkan belum lulus, misalkan nilainya masih di bawah standar, nanti UPT Bahasa akan menyiapkan beberapa program untuk peningkatan capacity bahasa Inggrisnya Bapak Ibu. Ini tujuannya untuk mengantisipasi lebih dini Bapak Ibu, karena kenyataannya pada saat yudisium, beberapa tahun terakhir itu mendol di belakang. Banyak sekali ternyata mahasiswa yang hampir gagal yudisium itu karena ternyata TOEFL-nya belum memenuhi. Dan itu waktunya sudah mepet dan nggak ada waktu lagi untuk memperbaiki atau tes di ITS. Begitu ya kira-kira, Bapak Ibu.
Okay, thank you, Professor
Offline,
Harry.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
okay,
the
so
test,
next we can...
maybe online or offline session.
Sepertinya offline, Tapi tunggu pengumuman lebih lanjut dari UPT Bahasa saja ya, karena kemarin mereka baru kita kasih data mahasiswa baru, nanti mereka akan men-set untuk jadwalnya begitu.
Sorry, Prof. I want to ask. My class is from PLN, and before we accepted into the master program, PLN asked for the employee that want to study again, use IELTS or IBT. What if about that? Because IELTS and IBT is international testing for English user. How about that, Prof?
Okay, so I think we need to discuss again with the UPT Bahasa about this one. Maybe there will be some exception for untuk kelas kerjasama kan ini ya. Jadi tadi sih sebetulnya walaupun Bapak Ibu konsepnya ya, walaupun Bapak Ibu sudah punya sertifikat TOEFL atau IELTS mungkin yang dari credible institution, tetap kami menghendaki Bapak Ibu tes di ITS begitu. Ini yang berlaku sekarang Bapak Ibu. Ya apa ya, karena sebenarnya karena memang ada aturan di ITS, surat edaran wakil rektor itu yang mewajibkan bahwa untuk syarat kelulusan itu harus dari ITS. Kemudian yang kedua masalah verifikasi. Jadi verifikasi hasil sertifikatnya itu kita harus menghubungi A, B, C dan sebagainya. Itu yang kita kesulitan. Sebenarnya bukan kesulitan, tapi lebih ke secara teknis itu tidak simple begitu ya. Gitu. Tapi nanti coba kita, mungkin ada perwakilan dari PLN yang nanti bisa remind kami ya. Kami akan coba komunikasikan ke UPT Bahasa. Jujur itu bukan wewenang dari kami di Direktorat Pasca, karena masalah bahasa itu di UPT Bahasa dan nanti keputusan terakhir mungkin di Pak WR1 begitu. Ya.
Oke, terima kasih Prof.
Ya.
Okay, thank you, Professor Harry. Maybe Bapak Ibu, if you have any questions regarding the requirements of FL or TEFL, you can check UPT Bahasa's website. And next we have a question from Pak Renaldo Purba, mohon maaf.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fadila and Prof. Harry for this opportunity. First, I want to lower my hand. It's a little bit tired. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes,
Prof?
sir.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Renaldo Purba and I am Master of Mechanical Engineering. Actually, I have no experience regarding sending and publishing the journal. So I have two questions for Prof. Harry. First question, about the process of the reviewing and editing. If we are rejected, we will get the notification by email, right?
Yeah.
Then will the editor or reviewer tell us about the points which must be improved or revised by us through email or not? And the second question, you said previously that if our journal is rejected, we will get the reply email from the reviewer or editor within 2 until 3 days. Yeah. So I want to ask the question: if we are accepted, how long the whole process will it takes until we get the notification that we are accepted? How long the whole process? I mean, from we are sending the journal until we get the notification by email. Okay, that's all my question. Thank you, Prof. Harry.
Yeah, thank you. So from the first point, so if your paper is rejected before the review process, normally there will be no clue which one should be improved. The editor will only say something like maybe your English need to be improved, or the scope of the topic of your paper doesn't meet the journal requirement or something like this, quite general, yeah. But if the rejection happened after you do the revision, for example, it already goes to the review process, and then you got the feedback from the reviewer, and then you revise your paper, and then it got rejected. So normally the comment from the reviewer will be something like, the author is failed to address the revision given by the reviewer, which means that the points that has already given by the reviewer cannot be clearly answered by the authors. Yeah, so this is what happened. And about rejection, about 2 or 3 days, of course, this is just a tentative duration. Yeah, it could be 1 week, for example, it could be 1 day. So it depends on the editors. But normally, if your paper is rejected from the very beginning, from the what we call a screening process, then the notification will be quite fast. But if your paper is accepted to be sent for review process, this is what I say. There is no standard. Of course, like MDPI, for example, MDPI, the journals under MDPI, they say that they already set a speedy review process, something like 14 days. But okay, you might get the result, the first review result within 14 days. But afterwards, then we never know how long it will be. So my experience for my student, it could be 6 months, it could be 8 months, it could be 4 months. Yeah, even though MDPI. So this is a good journal, and MDPI already said that okay, they have a fast review process, but still after we send our revision, it might take like 2 months or 3 months to get another notification for the revision. So that's why we cannot really predict. Yeah, we cannot really predict how long the process will be. That's why if you already have something to write, then I might suggest you just write it and then communicate with your professor and then submit it to the journals. Ya, ada banyak kasus mahasiswa yang terpaksa tidak bisa lulus atau drop out karena semesternya sudah limit hanya karena menunggu belum ada notifikasi dari publikasi. Banyak sekali kasus di ITS seperti itu. Ya, kita nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain gitu kan. We only need the proof that you already submit and accepted. But by the end of the judicial meeting, you cannot show that your paper is already accepted. Then there is no excuse for the student. Ya, gitu Pak. Biasanya cara terbaiknya itu tanya-tanya ke senior Pak. Seniornya itu, kamu dulu publish ke sini berapa lama gitu. Publish jurnal ini berapa lama. Biasanya itu yang jadikan referensi. Gitu.
Yes, makasih Pak.
Ya.
Okay, thank you Pak Ronaldo and Prof. Heri. And next we have Pak Arka. Arka, you may unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry, Prof. Heri. I would like to ask about the schedule for the journal publicity. Is there any academic schedule for this journal publicity, or we gonna doing the publicity journal together with our thesis presentation at the end of the semester, Pak? Thank you, Pak Heri.
Okay, so again, don't wait until the end, ya. Saya bahasa Indonesia saja ya. Biasanya kan gini, mahasiswa itu sebelum maju proposal tesis atau disertasi itu sebetulnya sudah punya diskusi gitu ya, sudah diskusi dengan calon pembimbing atau calon promotor gitu ya. Dan bahkan ada mahasiswa yang memang sudah melakukan sesuatu terkait dengan topik itu, gitu. Nah, kalau saran saya, kalau memang sudah punya, if you already have some result that can be written as a paper, even though this is just preliminary result, but if your supervisor thinks that, oh, okay, it can be one paper, just write it. Yeah. So you submit it to the journals, even though you haven't yet have your proposal defense. That will be fine because there will be take time, right? So later after you already present your proposal, then the process still going on, and you will get notification whether your paper will be accepted or not. Gak masalah.
Oke Pak. Mungkin satu lagi Pak, terkait tadi kan emang harus ada promotor atau pembimbing ya Pak ya. Kalau di tes itu berarti kita bisa mulai milih pembimbingnya itu di semester berapa Pak ya?
Pak Arga, S2 pas 3?
S2 Pak.
S2. Ini tergantung dari prodi masing-masing ya. Tapi sebetulnya sejak masuk pun bisa, kalau misalkan Pak Arga punya punya bayangan, oh ini dosen ini kayaknya risetnya menarik nih, saya pengen gabung sama dosen ini gitu. Langsung di approach saja enggak masalah. Datang ke dosennya, Pak, saya nanti mungkin saya masih semester 1, tapi nanti mungkin semester 3 saya pengen mulai riset dengan topik ini. Bersediakah Bapak menjadi pembimbing saya? Kayak gitu nggak masalah.
Oh, berarti semester kapanpun udah kita pendekatan gitu Pak ya ke dosen udah dipersilakan Pak ya?
Iya. Kan banyak juga sekarang yang lulus 3 semester kan. Biasanya lulus 3 semester itu semester 2 sudah mulai approach ke dosennya. Dan akhirnya sudah mengerjakan gitu. Bisa jadi sudah mengerjakan dulu, nanti semester 3-nya tinggal nyusun bukunya saja kayak gitu, itu bisa juga.
Oke, sama terakhir sih, Prof, berarti untuk judul disertasi itu memang harus berkaitan dengan judul tesis Pak?
Judul paper maksudnya?
Judul paper ya.
Yeah, something that you write in your paper has to be part of. Jadi nggak bisa lepasan. Misalkan papernya bahas tentang, kalau statistik ya, bahas tentang inflasi begitu, kemudian secara metode juga nggak ada hubungannya sama sekali dengan tesisnya nanti, ya itu nggak akan diterima sebagai syarat kelulusan. Itu dianggap
Oke,
paper
Pak.
lepas begitu ya.
Oke, Pak Prof Heri, terima kasih. Thank you, Pak.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof Heri and Pak Arga. Next, we have Pak Teddy. You can unmute yourself. But I think Pak Teddy's question will be the last question for this session because we're running out of time, unfortunately. So yeah, Pak Teddy, please. Pak Teddy, please.
Thank you, Miss Fadila. Good morning, Professor Heri Keswanto. I want to ask something. What if I want to have submit my paper to the international journal and get rejected, and then I try my lucky to submit it to national journal? Is it possible or not, Prof?
Yeah. So of course, if you see from the requirement from Baku Mutu that I just presented in my slide, there is an option also to submit in to national journals. Yeah. So yeah, normally the step is that, okay, you try to high rank international journals. If it is get rejected, then you think to submit it to another journal with lower quality. Yeah. But again, it depends also whether your promoter, your supervisor will agree or not. So it's not just your own decision. Normally in ITS, the lecturer or the supervisor will still ask to submit in Scopus Index journal. Yeah, so I think most of the lecture right now in ITS, the orientation is that international journals, which is indexed by Scopus or Web of Science. So instead of submitting your paper, rejected paper to national journals, of course, you can do this with the agreement from your supervisor. You can choose another journal with the lower quality.
Okay, thank you, Miss Professor. I have another question. Is it okay, sure. Miss Fadila? This is I've never have experience for publishing journal, so I want to ask something about what does it mean rejected, Prof? Or is it mean it means that our topic is not qualified, or just our format is not qualified, so we need to revise just about format, or we need to change the topic or something like that, or just changing the method, or another maybe some minor revision. Okay.
So maybe I share again a little bit my slide about the ya apa ya Mbak, apa waktunya ini. So normally after you submit your paper to the journals, it will go to journal editors. and the editor will do the screening. Yeah. And what is the screening about? This is about the scope of your paper, whether it meets the scope of the journal or not. For example, your paper is very theoretical, but the journal is something which is applied. So the editor might say it is your scope, the scope of your paper doesn't fit with our journal. Yeah, and you will be given the notification that your paper is rejected. Another thing is that normally it is about the language, ya. Jadi di proses ini tuh dicek masalah apakah scope dari papernya itu sesuai dengan jurnalnya. Kemudian kemudian apakah juga misalkan bahasa Inggrisnya itu bagus atau enggak gitu. Jadi kalau terlalu too much mistakes or too much typo in your paper, I'm sure that your paper will be rejected. But if your paper has already passed the screening process, it will go to review process by the reviewer. And later when you got the result from the reviewer, it could be rejected or you will be asked to revise. Ya, revision itu bisa macam-macam, bisa dari metode, bisa dari tulisan dan macam-macam. Kalau misalkan rejected ya sudah, berarti Anda tidak beruntung. Tapi kalau misalkan revise, itu sebetulnya adalah step awal bahwa sebetulnya paper Anda itu bisa diterima. Cuman memang harus melalui proses revisi begitu. Ya. Jadi itu juga kadang very stressful merevisi itu. Jadi ya harus sabar saja gitu. Ya.
Berarti bantuan dari supervisor kita sangat penting ya, Prof, untuk menentukan apakah topik kita kira-kira qualified untuk tahap awal yang tadi, Prof ya.
Iya. Jadi harus diskusi dengan promotor. Biasanya supervisor itu sudah punya gambaran. Oh, kalau papernya topiknya ini kira-kira bagusnya ke jurnal mana kayak gitu.
Baik, terima kasih, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Heri and Pak Teji. If anyone else has any questions, Prof. Heri, would you be willing to share your email in the chat so that they can contact you directly?
Okay, so I put my email in the chat box, and if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to drop an email to me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Heri, for sharing about this topic with us. So, yeah, Bapak Ibu, now we know all the requirements for each study program, and Professor Heri also highlighted that the publication process is quite lengthy, so it's encouraged that you make preparations as soon as possible. Also, Bapak Ibu, please remember to involve your department and your supervisors when you make your publication decisions. Yeah, once again, thank you, Professor Heri.
Thank you. Satu Mbak. Itu tadi ada pesan di share Mbak Dewi tentang baku mutu. Yang tadi saya tunjukkan itu kan versi 2021. Sebetulnya sama persis Bapak Ibu, isinya sama persis, hanya ada satu saja yang berbeda, itu jumlah pembimbing yang diperbolehkan untuk satu supervisor, untuk satu promotor. Kalau di versi 2020 itu 4, kalau di versi 2021 6 gitu aja. Tapi lainnya sama persis ya. Okay, Mbak, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Heri. And now we're moving on to the next session. Our next speaker is the English Language Fellow here at Iits, Dr. Thomas Kaufman. Hello, Thomas, are you here?
Hello. Yeah. Should I start? Can you hear me okay? Coming through all right? Everything working?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I don't think we can see you. Yeah, now we can see you. Okay, great. So, everyone, Dr. Thomas is the English Language Fellow here at Iits. He is from the Regional English Language Office of the US Embassy. He arrived here in Indonesia earlier this month, and he's been working closely with the Academic Writing Center. So you may be seeing him in future workshops or even meet him for writing consultations. So in this session, Dr. Thomas will be delivering about how to improve your English as postgraduate students. And I'm sure he has a lot of insightful knowledge that he can't wait to share with us. So without further ado, Dr. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Yes, indeed I do. So yeah, let me thank you for having me, and thank you, Prof. Harry, for giving all the details and the nuance of this tremendous undertaking that you have just started with the publication process. And as you've heard, and as you will hear, your best resource will be the Academic Writing Center, where you can come see us talk about those challenges with your papers. So yeah, sign up for that. But I'm just going to hit you with some quick other resources that can help you along the way to learning, to improving your English proficiency and accomplishing that final goal that you have. So yeah, quick little bit on me. Okay, let me open up. Have a little fun, try to have a little interaction. Yeah, so I'm an English language fellow. There's a lot of things about me. I've been teaching for a while, but I want to, there we go, play two truths for one lie. I know it's a big group. We could do it with a poll, but here's three things about me. One of them is a lie. So two truths, one lie. Where do you go? Okay, I'm an international athlete. I can speak Mandarin Chinese. This is my first time as an English language fellow. Let's just throw some numbers. Just put a number in the chat. Which one do you think is the lie? Saying all kinds of numbers. That's fun. Okay. Wow. Thank you. No doubt one. Okay. One is a lie. Yeah, that's what we're saying. All right. Thank you for all of your feedback. I don't know if we can tally it, but you know your answer, right? And you know other folks. I am an international athlete. I can speak Mandarin Chinese. This is my first time as an English language fellow. And the answer is number 3 is the lie. Number 3 is a lie. So I am, in fact, an international athlete. There's me in China on a 14-foot stand-up paddleboard where I did like 10K around this reservoir. And at the award ceremony, I was waving the American flag. So that counts, right? This one is me in Taiwan. 台湾人说中文，就是我住在40年，我说中文。I lived there 14 years, so I learned some Chinese. I hope to learn some Bahasa too. This was me, my first year for Christmas. I'm going to need to find my highlighter here. I wonder what I'll be doing this year for Christmas in Indonesia. But this is my first year as an international student in Taiwan. They had me run around as Santa Claus giving candy and treats to all the adults. And this was a picture with the students. Thankfully, I don't have the beard and the belly, but I'm growing the beard. I'm looking a little older. That's a long time ago. So the lie. I have been an English language fellow before. This is some colleagues from the Philippines. They did something with the English language office, regional English language office with the embassy and running MOOC camps and kind of helping with English language solutions all across the country there. Last year, I was another virtual fellow. right? Virtual, meaning, right, actually what we are now, but I'm no longer, I'm now an English language fellow on site, on campus. You can go and find me at the Academic Writing Center. And there are a lot of folks like me. There's like 3 or 4 other writing centers all around Indonesia, and you guys are fortunate or unfortunate to have someone like me here. And I'm fortunate to be selected for Iits and Surabaya and to be with you. Okay, how are we doing on time? All right, good. Let's keep going. I don't know if there's anything in the chat of merit just yet. Okay, just numbers. Cool. So let's jump in. Why am I here? What am I going to help you with? Our session here. This is, yeah, tips. Basically, this is tips. These are resources. I'm going to kind of speak to from my wealth of experience and kind of highlight some of the things that I think will be helpful to you. The number one, of course, also being the Academic Writing Center and all of your great professors as well. So, you know, and I'm going to split it up into different segments of listening, reading, writing, and speaking, and how these different areas fit. So writing is definitely key to a publication, and we'll hear a lot about that. But then there are also the other skills, and I have some fun and valuable websites to share with you. So first thing, let's take a step back. As we've heard, Rome was not built in a day. We're here starting our journey as postgraduate students, and thinking about a publication is an undertaking. And so, you know, take a step back from it and think about the process and how much, you know, that it will take, that you'll be building incrementally each time as you go. Funny enough, personal trainers in the gym love to use this quote. And there's often a lot of similarities I find in myself as a teacher and also as kind of a trainer to motivate students, to give them just the right kind of exercises, and also maybe medicine as a doctor. But yeah, so this is the start, and there are a lot of things that you need to go through, and so here are some. And in the notion of journey, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu, in our Asian way. So you have taken that first step, and there will be many more. And so these are kind of some things to kind of keep in your back pocket for later. And I'll share, you know, a whole list of resources. And also I want to hear from you. You probably have a ton as well. So here we go. Let's start our journey together. That's something in the chat says, temple built in a night. Okay. Yeah. So a little plug to the regional English language officer, Rick Rosenberg, who is my superior. He manages all the people like me in Indonesia and East Timor. He helped create this game. It's a game for learning English, and it's kind of an interactive journey where you're acquiring milestones and you're completing tasks and lots of fun stuff like that. So here's one. Compliments of the American English program. All right, works. Okay, there's one fun resource for you. And again, I'll share a link to all of these at the end. Not yet. Yeah, great. Fun way to improve your English. You know, probably the beginning stuff will be easier, but it'll be also there's culture in there and learn about America and all this fun stuff. Another way, switch. Yeah, Duolingo is not just a test. Actually, it started. I digress. I'm not. My master's degree is in education, and I've been teaching for like 14 years. But my doctorate is in learning design and leadership. So I'm very much versed in these technology things. That's why you'll see some of that, even though I can't quite get the animations to work well on my slides. But anyway, language journey, Duolingo has these kind of milestones as well, this kind of notion, this metaphor we're thinking of, you know, think about where you are now and where you want to be and how you're going to get there, how you want to achieve that. And what are the milestones? What are the steps? How are you, what help do you need? How do you know that you reached it? How do you know that you're on the right path, right? Because sure, the publishing in a journal is the big part, but there are a lot of little parts before that big top of the mountain moment where you just look at the view and say, I did it, right? That sunrise at Bromo that I just got to see. So yeah, Duolingo, I'm going to skip that video, but that's another good one for you. So I have more, but in the chat, I want to hear yours. What are some useful tips or resources for studying English? So type in the chat some of the resources that you know, that you can recommend, that you use. Netflix, that's a fun one. Disney host stars. Yeah, I think I see that advertised sometimes. Games, movies, YouTube. Memes, that's fun. Google Translate, anime, movies. Read procedures, courses, CNN. Okay, we're seeing some more academic type of things or more higher level Englishes. BCC, BBC, songs. Practice with the Elsa app. Wow, Jessica, you get a prize. You named one of the apps that I'm going to talk about, Elsa. Get married with a native speaker. Okay, great tip. You'll have someone to talk to all the time, more than you want. Communicate with a native speaker. Yeah, right. So in speaking. Okay, great. So we've got being an immigrant. Sure. Yeah, going to an English speaking country, if you can, is a way. Also, you know, with the internet, we can almost replicate a lot of that immersion of digital experience with English. You can, as you've said, you can look at movies, Netflix and YouTube, and all of that is in English, right? So yeah, there's plenty of people to interact with. So all right, yeah, we've got the two most popular, most productive, but perhaps a little bit painful at times, or not as practical. They're not for everyone, right? So marrying a native speaker, well, where do you find them? Can you tolerate them? Does it work? Traveling, that costs money, that costs time. But yeah, those are the ones. Okay, great. So now I've got some for you. I'm sure there are many more, but here's the ones that I tried to outline. And we're going to start with listening. TED Talks came up a lot. Yeah, TED Talks, right. So the difference there, when you're watching something on YouTube, it's very natural. And that's great to listen to that. But it might not be that academic. It might kind of, limit your level of English, where when you listen to a lecture, when your professor is talking, their level of English is going to be more on the TED Talk level and get you higher. So the more you push that heavy weight, you listen to that advanced English, then your skill will go up. Yeah, so you might be at a point now where you just kind of plateau with YouTube and things. So I think we got to start with this one, lyrictraining.com. Anybody know this one? Oh, not yet. This one's fun. Again, not really, probably not going to get your academic language up too high, but it is quite enjoyable. Let's share it. So it's a song. It'll have songs, and you type the lyrics, or you choose the lyrics and learn that way. It's kind of got like a little game test to it. So yeah, somebody choose one. Can we see it? Yes, guessing lyrics and music. You got it. What song do we want? I think they have them all. Shape of You. Okay, good one. I think I was in a remote village in Rowo Trate, and some of the high school students brought out a guitar, and we were singing that. Let's do it. So we type in our song. J Fla, Ed Sheeran version, right? Live version. Oh, sorry, we'll have someone already mentioned one. Sorry about Ariana Grande. Like, yeah, there's a fun one. Expert, fill in all the words. Beginner, advanced. We're not beginners, but for the demo, we'll go with it. Play video, start game.
Love is the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
Somebody type it. Somebody type it. We're gonna lose. I'll start you.
Best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table. The bar is where I go.
All right, I see you.
Me and my friends at the table doing shots, but my friends at the table doing shots, but talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation.
I'm not gonna type until you do. Thank you. There you go.
Talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation with just me. Trust me, I'll give it a try. A conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a try. Down my hands, and the man on the tree.
Oh, dia pabriknya apa?
Expert.
Tapi sama Lisa Pay.
No.
Oh, yang public. Public.
And the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance now, singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, call him out. Somebody like me. Come on now, call him out. I may be crazy. Don't mind me, say, boy, let's not talk too much. Crazy, don't mind me, say, boy, let's not talk too much. Got on my waist and put that body on me. Coming down for my lead. Coming down for my lead.
Follow, there you go.
Down for my lead. Coming down for my lead. In love with the shape of you. You can pull like a magnet. Open my heart, exploding. Like a magnet. Heart exploding. I'm in love with your body.
All right, getting a little harder.
I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my body. Last night you were in my room. My bed sheets smell like you. It's starting something brand new. I'm in love with your body. In love with your body. I'm in love with your body. In love with your body. Where it takes something brand new. I'm in love with the same floor that we can. I'm in love with the same floor that we can. When the story begin, we're going out on our first date. You and me is 50, so go you can eat, fill up your bag, and I feel like a play.
Did it stop? Did we die? All right, you get the idea. And there's like a leaderboard and you get points for doing it. And I'm sure, you know, if you were doing this yourself, you'd have much more control and you can just type it in. There's different matching, you can have more lyrics. Really fun way to practice your listening skills. Not super
I think Dr. Thomas is having some connection problems. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay, let's just wait for a second for Dr. Thomas to come back.
Am I here? Sorry.
Hello. We lost you for a second there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, maybe the share screen thing got a little funny. We've got a lot of videos here. Okay, so there. So Voice Tube, as I mentioned, it was kind of like TED Talks and lyrics training together. Podcasts are a great way to practice your listening. Again, so the key point is interest in something that you're motivated in. Like, of course, there's a lot you can listen to, but if it's something you're going to listen to every day that you really want to know about, it's about your hobby or something, your books, the author of your favorite book is giving a podcast, you're going to want to get that information. That's going to be real motivating for you. MOOCs are a fun one. I could go on, I could give a whole talk on MOOCs. Coursera, edX, Udacity, they used to be free. Now they're, I guess you can audit them. You can get like, you can take a full degree just from your laptop. But for just practice, it can also be free. You know, if there's something that you're learning and maybe you just want to supplement that, I'd say something that maybe you did your bachelor's in, that you're pretty familiar with, the concepts, you want to improve that academic English, take a move in something you know that maybe that you do in your job every day, and then you'll get exposure to that language, those kind of words that are in your field. If it were like the classes you're taking right now, that might be a little hard, and a lot of folks, when they take MOOCs, they don't finish them. So if it's something that you're comfortable with, you're a professional at it, you'll work to get that certificate, and you'll get the English listening practice. So there's my tips on that for listening. There are many, many more, but that's what I have for you. Reading, Newsella, Lexile, Magoosh, and Quizlet. So Newsella is all about reading news. It also kind of takes that interface of VoiceTube, giving you your own dictionary, your own kind of personalized experience, things that you like, things that are on a good level with you. Very, very nice website, lots of things. Anything you can read, you know, novels, of course, are great too. Lexile is a fun one. Lexile gives you like your reading level. And I think some folks miss they read a lot, but perhaps they don't read at the right level. You should be reading things to really improve, maybe about 10 unknown words per page. If you know all the words, it's too easy. If you don't know half of the words, it's too hard. But if you look at go to this Lexile, it'll test your knowledge, give you a score, and then it'll give you kind of materials that are in that range for you. Slides, yeah, sure. I'll share the slides. I'll share the resources at the end. Yeah. Magoosh is a great website for all kinds of test prep things. So anything TOEFL, IELTS related. That's my go-to as a teacher, to look at their content. It's wonderful. And so it's not really reading. There is reading in a test, but that's more of a catch-all everything part. Quizlet, flashcards. Flashcards are wonderful. Quizlet makes games with the flashcards. There's already sets that are in there. And what you want in a flashcard is what's called spaced repetition. So, you know, if you're just doing it, you're going through the word, right? What a good software can do, it will give you the words you don't know again and again. And the words you do know, they're in the back. And so you'll build on these vocabulary skills. And Quizlet does that spaced repetition and has lots of fun games. Keep you engaged to use. Okay, reading. Now, what's next? Writing. Okay, that's what we're here for. That's what it's all about, right? So you're going to hear about the Academic Writing Center. I'm not going to talk too much about that. It's wonderful. It's a fantastic resource at your disposal. Use it. Come see me, have a session, talk about your paper, and you'll hear more about that later. Purdue OwlNet is a great resource. Lots of academic things there. If you're wondering how to cite sources or about plagiarism or how to outline something, it's all there. Everything is on the OwlNet. And if you do come see me, there's a chance I might direct you to the OwlNet as well. Although there's plenty of things right on the ITS website too. Grammarly, how we doing? Okay, keeping on time. Grammarly is a good resource. If you're not using it, you probably should. It also gives you not just grammar, but some kind of style things, and gives you a bigger breakdown. Like if you put a paper onto their website, it will give you more details there. Make good use of those. Maybe you know about that one already. Your peers, your classmates are a very valuable resource for your writing. So share your paper with them, get their feedback. It's hard when you write something, you're so in it, and to be outside of it. It just helps to have someone else read it. Even if they read it to you, you would hear it differently. And this recursive process we do in writing will trigger some changes, right? Writing is always changing. It's once it's published, it's done. But until that, it's just being constantly in a course of drafting and revising. So your peers can give you a lot of good feedback. Feedback is tough. It's tough to hear criticism. You think that you're perfect and your writing is wonderful, but actually, even the best writers don't have perfect writing when they start. Right? They need someone to say, I don't understand what you mean by this. And then you'll say, well, you're not smart enough. No. Then you'll take it seriously, think, well, if you don't understand, then the reviewers won't understand, or someone else, a teacher, might not understand. So make it as clear as you can. I'm often telling students when you're writing to consider your audience like a smart high school student. You guys are graduate students, so maybe consider your writing to a smart undergraduate student. You're explaining to them, you're guiding them, you're walking them through your logic. And it's okay to repeat things. It's okay to simplify it a bit. You want it to be as easily read as possible. They're not reading as carefully as you're writing. So when knowing that your reader is not reading as carefully as you're writing, you need to write very clear for them, where it seems like obvious and redundant, but that's what we do in academic writing. That's just the conventions for a variety of reasons. That's it. I'm not going to get into too much more of that. I could, but that's some resources there that I'll share with you at the end. The end is coming. One more: listening, reading, writing, speaking. So this would be, marrying a native speaker would be where the speaking tip comes in. If you can't do that, here are some other ones. If that's not in the cards for you, if you're already married or can't find one, there's that. I don't know. I'm single, but there's only one of me. There's the internet. Lots of I'll talk. Yeah, we'll jump in with the internet again. So there's Second Life was a application that started where people like jump in with avatars, and they have a whole world where they communicate and do things, and people spent more time in their Second Life than they did in their real life. And so that actually was part of like this language learning opportunity, because you could speak with people in that language and improve that way, because that's a lot of where the issues come in terms of finding someone to speak with, right? How do you practice if you don't have someone to listen to you? So any kind of forums, online games, blogs, channels, anywhere where you're connecting with someone, even if you're typing, that's a start. That's kind of speaking, chatting. But then that could also build into actual speaking. So finding peers, You can find them on MOOCs, lots of places online to make the world more connected and more global. Yeah, let's skip to this one too. Real world. In the real world, sure, if you travel to a native speaking, English speaking place, yeah, great. That'll be overwhelming. You'll have more English speaking partners than you ever care to have. And that works. But what about if you're not? The internet would be a resource, or go to places where you can find native speakers, certain restaurants or coffee shops or bars. You'll find native speakers. We Western people, we go to those. So be careful, but that might be a place where you can find a friend to chat with, and maybe you'll find hobbies. Anywhere you can, make use of whenever you meet people, tourist places, right? Lots of different English speakers come there. So depending on where you are, try to practice with your English. My tip that I heard a long time ago that I used in China, I was already in Taiwan. I was already there, but the best people when you're in a native place are grandmas. Find a grandma, find a bunch of grandmas, and make friends with them and speak with them. Grandmas are great because they're very kind and nurturing, and they have a lot of time. And they're teachers. There's teachers everywhere, and they are very experienced teachers. Chances are they've taught their children how to speak, and they've taught their grandchildren how to speak. So, and they'll have the patience. They'll probably appreciate it. Not all of them, right? Make sure don't be rude, but most will enjoy seeing this funny-looking person fumble through the language and see the improvements that they make. Yeah, so those are some interesting ways to improve speaking. I put these to Fluent U is another kind of website. I think it's only free for 14 days now, but that'll give you lots of different practice. Flipgrid is something maybe when you're making a presentation, you can kind of put your voice onto a PowerPoint and give these quick little slides that are it's not quite speaking, but it is practicing, getting that language out of your head and through your vocal cords, right? And so that's another good resource. Elsa, someone already mentioned this, which is really interesting, is very much specific to pronunciation. And I'm hoping you could share with us in the chat about your experiences with Elsa. Not from Frozen, not the Let It Go Elsa, but I think it's E something L. I don't know if you heard that. So this woman is trying to say a word, trying to order a drink, and having trouble because of her pronunciation. Maybe her vowel sounds are a little different. So this app then listens to her, gives her AI feedback to say what they're parts of the word that they're not getting, and then she iterates through it. And she's happy, and she can pronounce the word, and she achieves that milestone of success and gets her reward. That's a fun way. Yeah, pronunciation, I would say in my experience in the 1 month so far, I've struggled with some folks speaking to me in English because the vowel sounds are different. So it's probably going to be helpful for me to learn Bahasa, but it is something you should be aware of. That you will be aware of when you're speaking with native speakers, that the way you pronounce vowel sounds is different. So there's one way, Elsa maybe is a good way, or just really taking the time to look through those vowel sounds and get them right, all that fun phonology stuff. Okay, I think that'll do it. That's what I have for you. And I think the most valuable part of the session will be right now when I get feedback from you, if you want to share about Elsa, or if there's some other things you want to ask me about. So now's that open forum. Put it in the chat and I'll share the documents.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Thomas. If Bapak Ibu has any questions, please, you can raise your hand. Right, we have one here. There's Pak Chesta. You may unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great job on the lyrics training, by the way. You're
Oh
nailing it.
yeah. I'm sorry at first I don't have my video on because I'm kind of outside right now. And I have two questions. First is about listening. Sometimes when we listen to other people speak English and they are not from America, for example, from Britain or from Scottish or Australian, they have different accents. And for me, a non-native speaker of English, it's kind of hard to grasp what they speak when they use their accent. Can you give us tips on listening English in different accents that are hard to listen to? And for the second question, it is about speaking. I have difficulties in finding people to speak with in real life because we are all around me, the people around me are all Indonesians, and I have a hard times to practice speaking English. As you can hear, I'm kind of mumbling and rattling about my English is not pretty good. So my question is, do you have any tips for how to gain real life speaking experience? And that's all about my questions. Thank you for the chance.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Great questions. They're great questions because they don't really have easy answers, unfortunately. So yeah, your first question about listening to different native speakers, it's kind of a misnomer. It's very much a political argument in many ways, what a native speaker is, but yeah, some Brits, I don't understand what they're saying. Like a thick Kiwi accent, that's even tough for me, And there's, different parts of America where there's the Chicago English, but then there's a Texas English, which sounds totally different. And then there's also like India, Singapore, Philippines, which have their own variety. They're not quite native, but how do you get better at those accents? Yeah, practice, I guess. Watching more of that. I mean, something like an accent, maybe something you don't need an academic talk. You could listen to a TV show or a YouTube channel or something where people are using that. But yeah, to communicate, right? So to speak to your second topic, where do you find people? Yeah, that's also a difficult question. If you were to take a MOOC in want in an open course, you might be in a community where you can reach out to people and discuss problems and things. You try to broaden your network in a way. If you're, I think you said, a working professional, so maybe there are events or online kind of forums and message boards where people share ideas, and maybe you can make some friends that way. If you live near kind of places where maybe native speakers go, but I don't know if you want to walk up to one, you know, that's kind of awkward, but try to find some hobbies. Yeah, that's a tough challenge to do. But yeah, those are kind of the advice. That's the best I can offer you, I think. But yeah, there you go. Thanks, bye. Yeah, come chat with me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's what I'm here for. I love the chat.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Thomas, for the answer, and Pak Jessa for the question. Anyone else have any questions? Ya, Bapak Ibu, jadi mumpung ada native speaker, mungkin bisa langsung ditanyakan begitu ya. Don't be shy.
I think there are
Okay,
prizes.
we have, yeah, Pak John, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. I want to ask, introduce myself. My name is Juan Deva Putra Mahendra, and I want to ask, what are the factors that have a big influence on improving our English skill, and what is the easiest methods for us to improve our English skill? Thank you.
Another hard to answer question. It's hard to answer because I don't really know you that well. I don't know your English that well. So it would very much depend on, you know, where you are, where is your English now, and where do you want it to go? What are your goals? And then step back and think about how you would achieve those goals. So in a general sense, the more it takes time. Languages take time. So the more time you're spending reading or writing, and something that is on the right level, not too easy. You know if it's easy, right? You know if you're not really learning a language. Reading things that are on the right level, going through your courses, coming to the Academic Writing Center. All of these are good ways to improve your proficiency level, and I think that's what you signed up for, right? So I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas, for your explanation.
Yes, thank you for your question.
Okay, next we have Richard. Maybe you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Thomas. Nice to know you. My name is Richard. Yeah. I have a question about we are trying to publish a journal, right, during our postgraduate, and in my recent years, I'm using Merriam-Webster for define a word. Do you have any reference how to define a word, maybe in a public reference? Because in my recent years, during my working experience, I only using Merriam-Webster. Or there is another tools to publishing journal? That's all my question. Thank you.
So a dictionary and how a dictionary would help with publishing in a journal. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing that comes to mind if you're thinking about dictionaries and perhaps Merriam-Webster gets a little bit wordy. And perhaps, you know, sometimes when you're looking in a dictionary, you find one word, you look up the word, and then there's a word in the definition, and you got to look up that word. You got to know 2 words, 3 words to know the definition of the one word.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So a learner's dictionary might be helpful, would definitely be helpful. Although learning more words is also helpful too, but you could consider what's called a learner's dictionary, where they use kind of simple English to define the words. Is that going to help you with your publications? Probably not. That's a whole different thing. So I guess I would emphasize reading. You know, the more publications you read, the more you'll become comfortable with that language. You'll see those words, you'll hear them, they'll be defined in a lot of different contexts. And that would be, I think, better maybe than a dictionary, where you have with flashcards and remembering it. So yeah, I hope that kind of, I didn't quite fully understand your question, but I think that should be helpful, right?
Okay, so the reference is Learner's Dictionary. It is a website based or?
Yeah. So you could probably just say like Merriam-Webster's Learner's Dictionary, or there's a Collins Learner's Dictionary, or Oxford. You know, all the dictionaries make a learner dictionary for English language learners.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for your question.
Okay. Dr. Thomas, would you like recommend using thesaurus to, you know, find synonyms, to maybe find a more formal way to express ourselves in our academic writing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, using a thesaurus. So in the, after you get your ideas down and it's drafted and it's coherent and logic is there, yes, absolutely. Then take a look at some of the words that you're using a thesaurus, having kind of a checklist of transition words that you can put into to start paragraphs, that you can connect ideas together. Yeah, absolutely. All of those things will improve the language dramatically. And we can help with that at the AWC.
Okay, and next we have Bu Imania.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Kaufman. My name is Fitri. Can you hear my voice? Okay. I want to ask a question about English assessment. There are 3 kinds of English assessment that are acceptable for applying scholarships all over the world. There are Ielts, IBT, TOEFL IBT, and PTE, Pearson Test of English. Which one do you think is better for fast learner, or you know, because I need to apply scholarship in near future, in a near time, so I need a fast English test that is compatible for scholarship. Thank you.
The fast English test. Okay. Which one do I recommend? I'm biased. I'm totally biased. In my first job out of college, I worked in Princeton, New Jersey at Educational Testing Service. And I know firsthand all of the hard work that goes into making the TOEFL and TOEIC tests and all the other tests that they make to make sure that it's fair, to make sure that the scores are delivered well, to make sure that there's, you know, not cheating and things, many things. But that's not your question. I think your question is more personal, that is about you. And so I think the first thing you might want to do, which I think you have, is find out what school or what scholarship, and make sure what they accept and what kind of score they're looking for, right? Different schools have different scores and they take different tests. Some take, say, Duolingo, some don't. Pearson, that's interesting that you mentioned it. It's not a major test, but it sounds like the person that someone is asking for it. So once you figure that out, practice with the test. Take these practice tests, and the one that you're more comfortable with, the one you'll get the better score on. You know, tests are there's a bit of a game to a test, because people like to cheat and because there's so much at stake. You do have to kind of learn some strategies with tests on how to manage your time and know the questions, know what people are at, what the test is after, how to answer it. So that's a pretty involved question. But like, if you've taken the test before and you know, and you're good on that, stick with that, right? Go to that Magush website. That'll tell you all about tests, more than you ever wanted to know, and things for PTE. Yeah, so again, it's hard to answer specifically for you which one works for you, because that would depend on a few other things. I need more information there, but I hope that would help.
Thank you for it is highly instructive. So thank you and have a blessed day.
Yes, you too.
Okay, and I think this will be our last question from Bu Anissa.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, save the best for last, right?
Well, thank you for having me. So I just like joined because I have another meeting. So I'm not sure whether this is question already asked or not, but before that, thank you for the great session. So my question would be, is there any class or option that Iits provided to us that before we publish a paper to the international journal, we can like send it to the Iits first to have their review about the grammar, so that it could be like have high possibility to be accepted in the international journal.
Oh, I think Dr. Thomas is having connection problems again. So maybe I'll try to answer your question, Bu Anissa. So here at the AWC, we offer one-on-one consultation. So you can book a one-on-one consultation and you can send your manuscript. And then the tutors here at the AWC will review your work and give you some feedback.
Okay. So there is option. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send the link on the chat here. You can check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, I think that wraps it up for this session. Yeah, I think Dr. Thomas is back now. So yeah, thank you, Dr. Thomas, for your presentation. So
Yes,
Bapak
thank
Ibu,
you.
please remember, please remember that, Rome wasn't built in a day. So don't be discouraged when you're in the learning process because it takes time. And please use the resources that Dr. Thomas shared with us. Pick something that you're interested in so that you can have more fun and there be more committed to seeing it through until the end. Thank you once again to Dr. Thomas for sharing the tips and resources with us. You can find the slides on the chat because he sent it on the chat. And yeah, thank you, Dr. Thomas. And now we're moving on to the next session. In this next session, I want to remind Bapak Ibu to please find somewhere comfortable to sit with minimum distractions because we will be doing a writing assessment. So this writing assessment will be led by Miss Melissa. Miss Melissa is a tutor here at the Academic Writing Center. And yeah, now I'd like to hand over the mic to you, Miss May.
Thank you so much, Madila. Can you hear my voice clearly? Yes, okay. Great. Hello, Bapak Ibu, selamat siang. Thank you for having me. And today I will be sharing about the Academic Writing Center Writing Assessment. And we will also have a writing assessment today. So just like what Madila has mentioned, please find a comfortable seat for you because we will be doing a writing assessment. So there you go. Maybe some of you have known me. My name is Melissa and I'm the tutor here at the Academic Writing Center. I'm sure that I've seen some of you during the previous workshop this month. So yeah, I will first explain what is the writing assessment that we have here and why we ask you to participate on this writing assessment. I will be using bilingual in case ada yang salah mengartikan gitu ya Bapak Ibu. So I will use both Indonesian and English. So what is the writing assessment in Academic Writing Center and why we have this? So this writing assessment is a writing test that measures your overall ability to write in English, assess your readiness in English writing, and identify your writing problems so it can help us to give you good services in the future. Jadi Bapak Ibu, writing assessment yang kita punya itu kita gunakan untuk mengetahui kemampuan Bapak Ibu dalam menulis gitu ya. Sekaligus kami ingin tahu bagaimana sih kesiapan Bapak Ibu dalam menulis bahasa Inggris ya, dengan bahasa Inggris. Dan assessment ini juga akan membantu kami di Writing Center untuk melihat writing problems yang Bapak Ibu punya. Sehingga kami bisa membantu Bapak Ibu untuk improve your writing skills. Ya, jadi tes ini bukan untuk grading Bapak Ibu. Ini bukan seperti tes yang ada di ini ya, Iits atau TOEFL yang nanti di grade gitu, enggak ya. Jadi kami memberikan feedback juga terhadap apa yang sudah Bapak Ibu tulis hari ini. Dan misalnya kalau ada yang bertanya berarti kita harus menulis ya, Miss. Yes, you have to write. Hari ini Bapak Ibu akan kami kasih soal untuk menulis. Ya, jadi Bapak Ibu harus siap-siap menulis. Dan untuk Bapak Ibu yang belum bisa, for those of you who cannot write because maybe you're in the meeting, in the middle of the meeting, or are you in or you're in your workplace, atau tadi yang ada bilang di lapangan ya, on your field work, it is okay for you to join the writing later on. I will give you the prompt, but make sure that if you cannot do it as per today, make sure that you send your writing, at least this week, so we can have a look at your writing. So yeah, basically this is what our writing assessment is. And what do you need to do? You need to write based on the given prompt or task. Jadi kita akan memberikan Bapak Ibu prompt atau task gitu ya, harus menulis apa, topiknya apa, kita sudah punya. Dan menulisnya bukan menulis pakai ini ya Bapak Ibu, pakai bolpen, pensil dan lain-lain di kertas, tapi menulisnya dengan bisa Microsoft Office Word atau di Google Sheet, dan nanti bisa di copy paste dan dikirimkan ke kami melalui link submissions yang kami berikan nanti di akhir. Gitu ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu harus you must submit your essays and fill out the survey on the submission form. Jadi ada selain Bapak Ibu mengirimkan apa yang sudah ditulis, ya kita juga ada survei yang harus Bapak Ibu isi. While writing, you have to stay on the Zoom meeting. Jadi ketika nanti waktunya menulis, kita kasih waktu menulis selama 30 menit. Bapak Ibu harus tetap berada di Zoom meeting ini. Nggak boleh kemana-mana, kalau bisa jangan leave ya, tetap di sini. You can turn off your camera, that is okay, but after 30 minutes, we will call you back, and please get ready to submit your work. And then, yeah, we will let you know when the time is over. And the submission link will be given with an additional time to fill out the submission form. Jadi nanti Bapak Ibu 30 menitnya hanya akan dibuat untuk Bapak Ibu menulis gitu ya sampai selesai. Setelah itu kami akan memberikan link dan additional time akan kami berikan waktu lagi untuk Bapak Ibu mengisi submission formnya. Begitu ya. Mungkin sebelum saya memperlihatkan promnya atau tasnya ada yang mau bertanya, silahkan. Do you have any questions before I show you the prompt? You can ask me the questions now, Bapak Ibu. Ini ada yang mengangkat tangan. Mbak Dila ini, Bapak Ahmad. Ya, silakan Bapak.
Actually, this is not my intention to raise hand, but okay. But okay, I just want to know the form of the rating assessment. What kind of form and what should we do in this assessment?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. So yes,
Yeah,
we will
okay.
show you the task. After this, on the next slide, I will show you what you should do. Yeah, please stay on your Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah,
hurry up, because this is very interesting to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Alright, ada yang ditanyakan lagi tentang teknik, masalah teknik Bapak Ibu sebelum saya memperlihatkan writing prompt-nya atau task-nya. Jadi nggak usah takut, ini di grade ya Bapak Ibu, ini bukan kita grade, tapi nanti berdasarkan writing Bapak Ibu, kita akan kasih feedback. Ya, feedback-nya nanti mungkin akan masuk ke email Bapak Ibu. No questions? I think I can show you the prompt, ya. Are you ready? Siap ya Bapak Ibu? Okay, let me show you the prompt. So this is the directions. Read the question below and write the response following the given instructions. This is the questions. This is the topic, Bapak Ibu. Ini adalah topik yang harus Bapak Ibu tulis dan jawab. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? All university students, not only pasca sarjana, tapi S1 juga, S1, S2, S3 in Indonesia should be required to produce at least one research publication in a national or international journal. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answers. Allow yourself 30 minutes to plan, write, and revise your essay. An effective response will typically be at least 300 words long. Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu punya waktu 30 menit untuk menjawab dalam bentuk paragraf atau essay, ya, di mana at least minimum itu adalah 300 kata. It is strictly prohibited to copy and paste from any source. Jadi nggak boleh copy paste dari source manapun, Bapak Ibu. Silakan dibuat dengan pemikiran sendiri. If you use someone else's ideas, make sure to include the citation in your essay. Jadi gunakan citation if you need them. Silahkan bisa decide kalau Bapak Ibu menggunakan someone else's ideas. Dan kita strictly prohibited you to use Google Translate. Coba ya, jangan menggunakan Google Translate, Bapak Ibu. Kita pengen tahu sebenarnya kemampuan sebenarnya Bapak Ibu dalam menulis itu seperti apa. Begitu ya. So this is your prompt. You will have 30 minutes to plan, write, and revise. And then later on, Mbak Dila and I will tell you if the time is over. Yeah, Bapak Ahmad.
About citation.
I'm sorry?
This is about citation. Since we don't know when we write something in the paragraph, sometimes we don't know this is same with the other people opinion or a suggestion. We just flow to write. So how if our idea is same with other people who
Well,
already?
that is okay, Bapak. If it is your own idea, you don't need to cite. Tapi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu menggunakan someone else ideas, examples, atau data, misalnya ya ada data yang mau dipergunakan, silahkan digunakan citasi.
Okay.
But if it is your own argument and idea, you don't need to cite it.
Okay.
Okay. Iya, silakan Pak Ernest tunggu. Ada yang mau ditanyakan lagi? Your 30 minutes begin from now, Bapak Ibu. Oh, ini ada yang bertanya, silakan. Pak Richard, maybe.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Where did I should submit? Any link?
Okay, just like I've mentioned before, the submission link will be given after 30 minutes is over.
Okay, so I should write in Microsoft Word or something?
Yes, you can use Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or Google Docs, that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Jadi nanti tinggal di copy ya Bapak Ibu, tinggal di copy paste ke submission link yang nanti kita berikan setelah 30 menitnya berakhir. Baik, Bapak Ahmad Nahwani, silakan.
Already, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
Let's other people to ask.
Ibu Lydia, silakan.
So, ma'am, we have if we cannot online, can we send after this online is finished?
Yes, you can send it today after this this meeting is finished. But tolong ini ya, tolong Ibu ketika mengerjakan juga spend 30 minutes, not more than 30 minutes.
Okay, that is to be honest, jangan menjiplak kan maksudnya, ataupun jangan melebihi waktu supaya tahu yang sebenarnya kan?
Yes, ya. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ya, karena writing assessment ini kami pergunakan untuk kita bisa bantu apa sih gitu ya terhadap masalah writing Bapak Ibu. Jadi please be honest. Alright, your 30 minutes starts. Bapak Ibu silahkan bekerja. Kita akan lanjutkan setelah 30 menit. Saya akan berikan linknya di chat setelah 30 menitnya. Baik Bapak Ibu, waktunya sudah tinggal 5 menit ya. You have 5 minutes remaining. And for those of you who have finished, you may submit your writing on this link. In the submission link here, you will not only have the writing assessment submission, but also some surveys. So please kindly do the surveys before posting your writing on the submission link. Untuk Bapak Ibu yang sudah mengisi dan mengisi submission link-nya, apakah bisa ini beri kita reaction? Please show some reactions if you have finished and submit your writing on submission link.
In PDF forum, I mean, it's okay.
Deadline submit hari ini, Bapak. Tapi make sure ketika Bapak menulis, lama waktunya 30 menit ya, jangan lebih. Ya, tugasnya sudah selesai, Ibu. Ini tugasnya tadi, waktunya 30 menit. Silakan di screenshot kalau ada yang baru bergabung. Kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu ada yang baru bergabung dan mau ingin mengikuti ini, silakan allow yourself 30 minutes to write ya. Jangan di timer sendiri. Kalau bisa 30 menit harus selesai. Dan kalau sudah selesai, tolong nanti di submit di link yang ada di chat. Linknya sudah dibagikan, Bapak Ibu. Linknya ada di chat ya.
Recording in progress.
Ya, Bapak, ada yang mau bertanya, silakan.
Iya nih Mbak, saya mau submit, tapi waktu submitnya dia minta login loginnya dan saya tidak bisa tersinkron, tapi tidak apa-apa ya?
Oh, nggak apa-apa, Bapak.
Oke, kasih.
Coba nanti juga nggak masalah. Tapi yang penting udah selesai ya, silahkan. Karena surveinya sedikit panjang, Bapak Ibu.
Kalau selesainya sudah sih Mbak, lagi mau submit ini.
Oke, good. Ya, saya sudah melihat ada 2 orang yang sudah selesai submit. Silakan Bapak Ibu yang lain.
Halo.
Ya, Bapak.
Ini saya isi dulu kuesionernya dulu ya, baru nanti ada menu untuk upload ya.
Ya, Bapak, benar. Jadi nanti di surveinya diisi dulu, lalu di bagian akhir ada link untuk paste ininya, paste writing yang sudah Bapak kerjakan. Jadi silahkan diisi dulu surveinya. How about only 200 word? Nggak apa-apa, Bapak. Apapun yang sudah Bapak Ibu kerjakan, silahkan bisa dikumpulkan. Nah, yang penting jangan menghabiskan waktu lebih dari 30 menit untuk untuk menulis.
Permisi mau tanya, untuk format apakah bebas atau ada following format tertentu?
Nggak ada, Bapak, formatnya bebas.
Oke, terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Oh, di paste saja ya, Mbak? Nggak upload file ya?
Iya, di paste aja, Bapak, nggak usah upload file. Baik, saya sudah menerima beberapa Bapak Ibu yang sudah mengumpulkan. Thank you so much. Bapak Ibu, untuk yang lain silakan.
Saya sudah ya, Mbak.
Ya, Bapak, silakan. Kalau kurang dari 300 apa bisa, silakan Bapak. Apapun yang sudah Bapak kerjakan, silakan untuk disubmit.
Itu
Ada
kenapa harus
pertanyaan lain?
kenapa harus login ya?
Kenapa, Bapak?
Kok harus login itu?
Login Google maksudnya?
Iya, kenapa ya?
Oh, sebentar, kami setting ini.
Iya, saya sama juga, Mbak. Dari tadi saya nggak bisa masuk karena login itu sama. Sama dengan Bapak itu tadi, Pak.
Iya, saya jadi ini nih, nulisnya nggak lengkap ini 300 kata nih, karena loginnya ini.
Oke, baik, coba ini lagi Bapak, dicoba lagi. Sudah saya settingnya, nggak usah login.
Yes, okay.
Alright,
Thank you.
thank you. Ada pertanyaan lagi Bapak Ibu mengenai writing assessment-nya?
Atau kalau enggak, mungkin bisa dibawakan kalau mau. Bro, mau lanjut ambil data atau mau istirahat? Bebas. Ayo ikut aja. Kalau mau ambil, mau ngambil aja deh.
Ma'am, Miss Melissa, I want to ask about something. Is there any further correction from the committee of AWC about our writing or no?
Yes, Ibu. We will give you feedback based on our rubric. So the feedback might be sent to your email.
Oh, via email. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ibu mau nanya?
Iya, silakan Bapak.
Iya. Ini nulis apa? Writing-nya tadi di bawah ini ya, Bu ya. Just reconfirm aja nih.
Iya,
Di
Bapak.
writing assessment task ini ya.
Iya, benar. Nanti
Write your answer here ini ya, Bu ya.
Iya, Bapak, benar.
Oke. Terima
Nanti
kasih.
di-copy paste aja ya. Ya.
Copy paste aja ya. Oke, terima kasih.
Ya, Bapak Ibu yang ingin berpartisipasi untuk assessment-nya, silakan kalau bisa hari ini dikumpulkan dan writing hari ini please submit it today. Ya. Baik, jika tidak ada yang ditanyakan lagi, mungkin saya bisa oper kembali ke Mbak Dila.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Melissa. Yes, so Bapak Ibu, if you have not submitted your writing yet, you still have time until today. And so far, we finished 3 out of 6 sessions. So now we will be having a break for an hour. So please take your time to eat lunch, pray, and maybe rest for a while. And we will be meeting again at 1 p.m. sharp. So yeah, enjoy your lunch, Bapak Ibu.
In life.
Bye.